The branch is so dry that it just floats on the surface of the water.
My companions did not notice that I did not reach the tree with them. The rain fell even harder, and at this moment my unconscious body was just lying on top of a dry branch that was floating and going with the flow of water. There is a wide hollow inside the big tree, and this was revealed to the eyes of my companions when they entered the hole.
Inside the tree, there are still holes looks like small caves, and this is where my companions took their place to rest. Dwarfino looked at his companions one by one. Lindolin, who was lying down and used a dry leaf as a blanket, as well as Zardim and Obed in the other hole.
Eshmael lit a fire so they wouldn't get cold, and Aris was on the side. While he was sitting on the big root of another tree that had entered inside, he cleaned his weapons one by one.
Dwarfino's gaze almost looked around, and he noticed that the number of his companions was insufficient.
"Where is our earthling friend?"
He immediately said. Everyone stood up because of what they found out, and Dwarfino started to worry as well as his companions.
It was early morning and the sun was about to rise. The rain has stopped and the other flood water that it caused is gradually receding. There was a part of the lawn that looked like it had become a lake because of the accumulated water from the flood. This part is low, so almost all the water went here.
It is surrounded by grass with flowers.
In the middle of it, you can see the pile of earth washed away by the flood.
It's like a small island surrounded by water. On its side, you can see a dry branch that was also washed away by the flood, where my unconscious body was also there on top of it.
After a while, my consciousness returned, and I slowly opened my eyes. The surroundings are bright because the sun has finally risen. I got up from lying down, and I could see myself in the middle of what seemed to be a small island, and it was surrounded by water. I stretched out my hands, arms, and legs because I felt its numbness. I stood up from where I was and looked around. The sun is high, and I can feel its heat touching my skin.
How can I get out of this place? I'm surrounded by water, I asked myself.
I waited for a while and thought of a way to get out of that place. My stomach is also growling, and it is looking for food.
Later, a bird came to drink water. That bird was bigger than me, and with my small size I could climb on its back.
I took advantage of the time, while the bird was busy drinking water.
I slowly approached him. He didn't notice me and just continued drinking water. He still didn't notice me as I slowly rode on his back.
After drinking water, the bird flew back to the tree.
I held tightly to his feather so I wouldn't fall.
The bird flew so fast that we reached the top of the tree after a while.
It immediately landed in its nest made of dry rice leaves tightly wrapped around the branch so as not to fall.